Welcome back. My name is Miki Kashtan, and after a month's break, we're back with the Conflict Hotline, where what you say next can change your world. Together with me in the studio today are Newt and Sabina, and Ellen will join us later. And we're going to work with different scenarios, such as this one that is happening between Sue and Eric. We call it He's So Great.
So I suppose you're going to go to that dance class again this evening?
Yeah, you didn't want to go with me when I asked.
I don't want to go to a dance class, but who do you dance with anyway when you're there?
This guy Frank, he's a great dancer.
Oh, Frank, well, great. I'm sure you'll have a lovely time with Frank.
I do, every time. He leads really well. He's wonderful.
I don't want to hear about Frank.
It's a certain kind of intimacy that you didn't want with me.
Oh, well, that's just lovely that you have an intimacy with Frank.
Thank you. Thank you. You recognize this kind of situation? Maybe not exactly this, but something like this must have happened in your life. The purpose of this program is to support you and other people who are viewing this program in learning to have skills for resolving conflicts. And this program is an all-volunteer effort. The cast and some of the crew are affiliated with Bay Area Nonviolent Communication, an organization I co-founded, whose vision is a world where everyone's needs matter and people have the skills for making peace. And the rest of the crew are affiliated with Berkeley Community Media, which is also hosting us here in this studio. If you would like to participate in this program, you can call us. The number is, and you can call from anywhere in the world, the number is 510-433-0700. And if you're wondering what you could call us about, you can call us about any kind of conflict, such as...
Maybe a conflict with your partner or a member of your family.
Or a conflict in your community, or somewhere with friends.
Or it can be something in your workplace, or it could even be an inner conflict. Any kind of conflict, you can call us and we will help you by showing you how you can revisit scenarios such as the one we just started with and see if it can be different. So which one of you would like to stretch and address the situation differently today?
I'd like Sue to stretch.
You'd like Sue to stretch?
Yes.
It's always me.
Are you willing?
Am I willing? Okay.
So that breath, if you notice that breath, this is something that is often very helpful, because I'm imagining that in this little breath, you have really gone quickly through an inner process of really finding the willingness so that you won't have resentment later. Is that true?
Yes.
What helped you find the willingness?
When you first asked, there was resistance. And then I went inside and remembered that I actually want to have connection with my husband.
Yes, thank you. So, let's start from the top.
So, I suppose you're going to go to that dance class again tonight?
Yes, I really like the dancing.
Yes, I'm sure you do. Frank, again, is it you'll be dancing with?
Yes, it's very innocent, but he's a great dancer.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's a wonderful dancer, yeah.
So I'd like to pause this for a second because I want to check in with you. Do you get a sense that he's unhappy?
Yes, I think he's unhappy.
And do you have a sense that continuing to explain yourself will address his unhappiness?
Probably not.
This often happens to many of us, that we think if the person just understood what my intentions are, then they wouldn't be upset. So we try to explain the intentions, but that doesn't really speak to what the upset is about, because the upset is about the meaning that the person has to it, and until they are heard, they probably are not likely to be able to hear you. So see if you can try to hear what might be going on for him in this unhappiness of his. What do you think is going on for him?
Would you like some companionship with me?
I don't want to go to the dance class. I'm not a dancer. That's not my thing.
So, if it's not about the dancing, maybe it's about a different kind of connection between you and I.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you. You like doing this kind of thing. I don't want to stop you doing what you want to do.
Do you hear the but?
Yes?
There is a but there, isn't there?
But I would like to do something, yeah. But I'm not going to ask for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so see, this is the thing. He is likely to hide his vulnerability and let his vulnerability come through as kind of like little indirect criticism of you. So if you want to create the connection, find what do you think is underneath that criticism?
I just have a sense that you would like to find something between you and I that has a similar intimacy as the dancing that I do.
Well, maybe. Maybe that would be, if you'd like to do that, yeah.
I would love that. I would love to have that kind of connection with you.
Okay. All right.
Do you think we could get together and find something?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So I have a sense that there is still a little bit of armor around you. Is that true?
Yeah. I still don't want to fully admit to that I'm missing her and wanting to spend more time with her.
Yeah. But I also have a sense that with her staying so focused on you and listening to you without defensiveness, that something is softening in you.
Yeah, it's more easy for me to go along with the ideas that she's proposing, which are actually true, without me having to say it.
Yeah. So this makes your life easier because you don't have to show the vulnerability, you just have to accept it when she's proposing it.
Right, yeah.
And I'm imagining that maybe for you there might be some way in which you wish he would show it more.
That would be lovely. It just feels like pulling, and then I'm caught between wanting to extend myself to him and explain myself at the same time. So if a little bit more came from you, it would be easier to stay with what's going on
so
between
now
us.
let's see how you might invite that of him. Right now we're talking outside the role play, but within the role play, can you think of a way that you can invite him to share more of himself? The best way to invite someone to share their vulnerability is by sharing ours. The more we're able to expose ourselves, the more the other person will feel a sense of spaciousness and room for themselves to match us with the vulnerability. So, would you try that?
The kind of intimacy I have when I dance with people is something I would like to have more of in our relationship. And I really miss it. So I enjoy the dancing, but I would much rather do something with you.
And what would you like from him?
And it's really important that I get across what I want to get across. So could you tell me what you heard?
Is this what you want, what he heard, or do you want his heart?
I would like his heart, but I don't trust it yet.
So reach for it by undefending yourself even more.
So when I share with you that I really want that, it's a little shaky for me because I really want to know how it is for you.
Well, that's nice to hear. Yeah.
So I have a sense that you could get more out of him if you ask for it. More out of him if you ask for it. If you just ask how it is for you, and he's so unused to revealing himself, it's not going to give him enough cues to know what to do. But if you can ask him more specifically, something such as, let me be you for a moment. So I am curious to know, is there, when I tell you that I'm shaky, does that in any way create a softening in you towards me?
A softening?
Does it feel easier for you to tell me what's going on inside of you?
Well, like I said, I would like to do something with you. Yeah.
So at this point, I have a sense that there is kind of like a big choice that you need to make inside. Clearly, you've chosen to have a relationship with someone who doesn't express much about himself. Mm-hmm. And this may be as far as he could go in this moment. Is this enough for you? Can you live with it? Can you hear the desire through this sufficiently to satisfy yourself to do something with him? Or do you want more? If you want more, you will need to ask for it to go even more into your vulnerability. And that's the choice that you're left with. Wondering what's going on inside of you as you contemplate that.
When I hear that, it feels like, given that it's so unusual for him to express anything, what he just gave me, even though it wasn't exactly what I wanted,
it was a big gift.
Was a big gift, yeah.
So tell him that. And then you can be done with this conversation. If you just share with him how much of a gift it was, because that will encourage him to do it more.
Okay. So I'm still shaky as we're talking because this is not easy for me to express. I just want you to know that when you just told me that you would like that too, it felt like a really big gift that you gave me.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Have a nice class.
Thanks. It's much easier to go with that kind of energy, with you sending me off and supporting me.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about doing something when you come back.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to give it a try now?
I could give it a try. Yes.
Going from the top?
Yeah.
Okay. Because one of the things that I like to bring across in this show is that any kind of situation can be addressed from either side of the conflict. Nobody is right or wrong. Nobody is a victim to anybody else. Anytime you wake up, whichever situation you are in, you can try to transform it by changing how you face it, changing how you hear the other person in particular, and changing how you express yourself. So let's start.
Okay. So, you're going to your dance class again?
Yeah, it's the dance class that I asked you to come with me to, and you didn't want to do it.
Yeah. Are you disappointed that I said no? Is that true?
Yeah, I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
You look surprised that I'm asking you that.
I'm totally surprised you don't ever ask me anything that's going on for me. It's usually just about you.
Yeah, I've been watching some stuff about communication on YouTube, and I'm just trying to be more interested in what's going on with you. So, how is that for you to hear me tell you that?
I'm still surprised, and when you said the whole thing, I was actually touched. It was like, wow, what's going on with you?
Yeah. And I could tell you what's going on with me too if you want.
That would be great.
I'm a bit worried about you getting so close with other men at the class. It's a little bit, I don't like it very much. It's not very familiar, and it's not very secure feeling.
And what would you like from her as you say this?
Oh yeah. And so I want to know how you feel hearing me tell you that.
Again, I feel moved that you would show so much of you to me in a situation that's difficult for you.
And how do you feel about the fact that I'm not very comfortable with it?
I would like to find a way for me to be able to do the dance that I love so much and for you to be comfortable.
Okay. Do you have any ideas what that would be?
Yes.
Can we pause for a second? Because I had a sense looking at you that this was like a big gulp for you. Like, okay, I've taken, I've looked at that YouTube and I have some skills, but this is a biggie. How do I handle this? Was there something like that going on? So let's pause for a moment.
I thought she'd just, stop going to the class or something. It'd be nice and simple.
Yes, it's so often happens that we think that just because we learn something new and we make a request, then the other person will obviously say yes. First of all, you never did make that request.
It's true. But I said I was uncomfortable. That should be enough, right?
We all think that just saying that what we don't like will automatically make it clear to the other person what we want from them.
Right.
It doesn't. And even when we ask, the whole point of making a request is that they might say no. So I'm guessing that working out this situation might require more, and I'd like to leave it here, but I want to check with you first. How happy are you with the results of trying out this new approach?
I got a sense of how pleasing it would be, at the very least, to be met with surprise at something that I'm saying, given that that's not what normally I would get met with. You know, normally it's the same old thing, and so there was something nice about that for me.
Yeah, there is kind of like we have like 5 or 6 scripts of how we do conversation with our partner, and all the conversations are going through one of those 5 scripts, and suddenly we're out of the script. Which was very evident looking at your eyes. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
So this is something that you can create in your relationship, is this kind of complete sense of difference from the familiar by trying out this combination of revealing yourself and hearing what's going on for the other person. Thank you. Anything else that you want to say before we close this one?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a break and then we'll come back to our next scenario.
I am craving, flying with the raven, 'cause she takes me between the 2 worlds. She's got magic in her dark wings, and in her heart lies the blue pearl. Invoke the water.
Welcome back to the Conflict Hotline. Welcome Ellen joining our cast, and we're going to play our next scenario called Mind Your Own Business. And before we start it, I want to remind you that you can call us at 510-433-0700 if you would like us to work with the conflict of your own. So, Mind Your Own Business takes place at the public library in any town, any state. And this is Betty and Jan.
Hi, Michael. How you doing? Okay. Hold on a second.
Do you see the sign over there?
Excuse
It says
me.
silence.
Excuse me. I'm on the
please.
phone. Can you just wait? I'll
Would
finish
you,
up.
would you stop
You know
talking
what?
on
I'll
the
call
phone?
you back. There's some woman here that's really.
Hello, there's a sign over there that says silence, please.
Yeah, I can read.
Okay, so would you please do what the sign says and stop talking on the phone?
I was just making a quick call to my husband.
Thank you. Do either of you see any hope of this one resolving in a way that will be happy for you?
No.
No.
Not the way it's going now.
Yeah. So why is it that this didn't work? Let's look at it for a moment. First thing is, the way you were speaking to Betty is by referring to an abstract principle over there. When you refer to an abstract principle about why you want her to do something different, it always sounds like a should. Didn't it? When she said, you see the sign over there? It felt like a should, didn't it? And then automatically when there's a should, what happens when there's a should? We don't want to do it. Right?
Right.
Okay, so the first thing is, if you were going to redo it, I would invite you to speak about yourself rather than about an abstract principle.
Okay.
And then, on your side, however she says it, you can receive it differently. Remember, we don't have any choice about how other people speak. Where we have choice is how we hear them, how we respond to what they say. So are you game for trying a different... So she's going to do the same thing, and you're going to try to hear what is going on behind her referring to this abstract principle of a sign that says silence.
Okay.
Okay. Take it again.
Hello, Michael. How are you? Good. Yeah, I wanted to tell you about...
Hello?
Hold on a second, honey.
Hello, do you see the sign over there? It says silence. Would you abide by the rules and stop talking on the phone?
So is there something that I'm doing that's bothering you? I mean, I really want to know, because I just have like 2 minutes to tell him this.
You are explaining before hearing her. Of course there's something that's bothering her. What is your sense of what she wants?
Well, the way that she wants me to adhere to what the rules are.
Why do you think that matters to her? What do you imagine she might want?
Well, she probably needs to do something here, I'm guessing, and my talking interferes with her attention.
Okay, so maybe she wants to focus, to be able to focus. So check that with her.
So, is it that you need the silence so that you can focus on something?
Absolutely, yes.
So I'm curious, did that lower your agitation when she said that?
Totally. I mean, it went from up there to whoop, like a deflated balloon.
One line can immediately diffuse so much agitation. And how was it for you to say that?
I had to kind of up a little bit, but once I did, it felt really good to be able to connect with her.
Yeah. Sometimes when I do this, I experience some kind of like a relief, almost like, oh, I'm not being attacked. There's a human being out there.
It's like I had to jump over a puddle, and then once I jumped and said something.
So let's see how you continue from here. So she said, yes, absolutely. Were you going to say anything else?
No, at this point I'm kind of waiting for her. I'm deflated and I'm waiting.
Okay. And so I'm guessing that by my talking, you really needed some consideration for what you wanted to do here.
I would have liked some consideration, yes.
Yeah.
And if you really needed to make a quick phone call, it would have been nice to just look around and make a quick check or, say something.
Yeah.
And check it out with the other people to include other people's needs,
Right.
you know?
Right. And now that I hear you saying that, I could have just stepped out to the front.
Or that.
And done that. Yeah. And I I wanted to go into explanation, but yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
So, it feels, I really understand what you're saying, and I really have some regret that I just went ahead and that it caused, not caused, but that what I did had a kind of negative impact on you in terms of your ability to get your work done.
Thank you.
That's simple. So we have a caller on the line, so I want to go to the caller in a second. I just want to have you practice for 1 second, just the opening line, instead of referring to this, talking about what is going on for you.
Okay.
It seems like the abstract principle will carry more weight, but really what makes the connection and generates willingness is for you to own what is really important to you.
Okay.
Could you try that out for just 1 second? So be on the phone for a second
Oops.
again. And the
Okay.
caller will be with you in a second.
Hi, Michael. How you doing? I just wanted to tell you something. Oh, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Would you please do the phone call somewhere else? I have a really important deadline. I need to be done by tomorrow, and I need to turn my paper in. And it would be lovely to have some focus. It would be so much easier to focus if you didn't talk.
Just let me tell him that for 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't that easier to hear?
Much easier.
Thank you very much. So we have a caller. This is Liz calling us from Portland, Oregon. Hi, Liz. Now let's see if the magic of technology
Hi.
is working. Hello, Liz.
Hi,
Hi.
how are you?
I can barely hear you.
Really? Here I am.
Okay. If you can speak a little louder.
Okay, I am on a landline, so we
Okay,
should
I'm
have a
hearing
good
you now.
connection. Okay.
So
Hi.
what is the situation that brings you to call us today?
My situation is that I'm feeling conflicted over a opportunity that's come up for me at work.
Conflicted, meaning one part of you wants this and the other part of you wants that.
Exactly.
Uh-huh. So you want to tell us in brief what the opportunity is?
Yes. Well, I'm a family practice doctor, and I'm just kind of getting established in my current practice, but I've always wanted to do hospice and palliative care medicine, and I have an opportunity to do that. There's a job opening that I've essentially been offered.
So just so that I get it clear, the part of you that wants to take the opportunity is because it's aligned with a dream that you have about how you want to practice medicine.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And so there must be something else that's very powerful to keep you from doing that. What is that?
It's just unexpected. And so part of me feels like it's not the right time.
So is it some fear around stability?
Yes, definitely. It's, well, stability, I mean, is part of it, I guess, but I think another part is fear around being new at something. I finally kind of feel like I'm a little bit in a groove at my current position, and this would be a whole new thing. So
So there's just kind of like fear of the unknown, like wanting something that is more familiar and known to you.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's that, and you sort of invest your time and energy in people, my patients, and then I would be leaving.
Yeah, okay, so there's relationships that matter to you.
Right. And I have one other thing, too. I have a partner who, like, maybe if I took this other job, there'd be a commitment, a time commitment, and maybe we don't want to stay in this town. And my partner is affected by that decision.
So there is, I'm still not hearing everything. So the thing about the partner is that there might be an effect in terms of you would need to move to another town?
No, sorry, that we currently live in this town, but we would have to stay here longer if I took this job.
Aha. So you want to have the flexibility to be able to leave, and in your current practice you have more flexibility.
Exactly.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to have each of the two people who are in the cast be one of your parts and engage the two parts in conversation with each other, and you will listen. And I'd like to ask Ellen if you would take on the part that has the dream of service.
Okay.
And is there anything you'd like to hear from Liz to be able to be that part of her? If you have any questions to Liz.
No, I think I have it.
Okay, how about you? Can you be the part that is wanting the familiarity and the flexibility and the stability and
To stay.
to stay?
I think so.
You need to ask Liz anything?
Maybe, 'cause, 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 'cause Besides this, could you say like 2 sentences about the job that you're doing right now? Just so I get a sense of it.
Well, I'm sharing an office with a very good friend of mine. And I do primary care family medicine in an outpatient setting.
And primary care?
Outpatient family practice.
Okay. And she hears very often that?
No, she has a friend that she shares an office with.
Oh.
Okay?
Okay.
So, this is an opportunity to look at an inner conflict. Whenever there's an inner conflict, we can sometimes look at it as if there are 2 little people inside of us, one playing each part. And Liz, at the end of this, stay on the line, listen to us, and at the end, we'll come back to you and check in with you how it was and what you got from it.
Okay.
All right. So, we're going to try to basically, the point of working out an inner conflict is to try to get inner integration. So we want to find a way to integrate both parts of ourselves so that there is a shared decision instead of trying to kind of like arm wrestle one part of us to be able to reach a decision. So the goal is for each of you to be able to hear, empathize, and integrate the needs of the other.
Okay.
So I have somehow a sense that the dream part is a little more tender. Mm-hmm. So how about let's let you express yourself first.
Okay.
And you hear what's important and integrate it into you. And then we'll go back and forth until there's some clarity that emerges.
Okay. So I'll just talk as though I'm Liz. Wow, well there's this dream I've had for since I started medical school to really do this kind of work, to do hospice work. It just seems like it is just a good match for me, and it has so much meaning to be with people at the end of their life, and that it just seems like the quality of who I am and my values in medicine just fit so beautifully with that kind of work. The tenderness that it takes to be with people, and the compassion and understanding. And it's just, I'm just blown away, because I was imagining this maybe 5, 10, maybe even 15 years away, and now it's right in my lap, and I'm kind of ecstatic and then totally overwhelmed by the idea of doing it now.
Mm-hmm. So what are you getting? What's important to this part?
That you really want to live your vision.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it touches something very deep inside of you.
Yeah, and that it should appear to me now, without even a struggle.
And it's almost like a surprise that it comes to you as a gift, and that you didn't have to do anything for it. It just falls into your lap.
Yeah, and it kind of,
point.
It's just really touches me inside, because it's almost like that's why I want to do the work, because it feels so natural and meaningful, and that it should come to me in that way. But I'm like feeling so not prepared.
So it's totally in the flow, and at the same time there's some anxiety because you don't quite know how to do it. And
yeah. And my thinking and my expectation was it wasn't going to happen now. So it's sort of like, whoa,
Mm.
So now, part of what happens when we're trying to do this kind of inner dialogue is to open ourselves to be affected by what the other part says. Not just to understand it, but to really let it affect our own experience in the part that you are playing. And I'm wondering if that is happening for you.
It is happening. So it feels like it fell in, and it's almost like it's penetrating my cells of wanting to stay with my community. It's really important to be with my patients and to do continue doing the kind of work I'm doing. And hearing the dream that you're talking about and the vision, even though it's really important, it feels like it's small in comparison to what you want to accomplish.
So you're affected, you're kind of like opening more open, more available to the possibility where previously you were really kind of like scared and really dubious about it?
I was very scared because I really want the care for my patients and for the community that I've been working in so much, and also the care for my partner that I'm sharing the office with. That's really important. I want to be reliable, you know, and the job gives me a certain flexibility, and I don't know if the other job would. So I want to keep that. It feels like it's a safe place that I've created in my life.
One of the things that I'm noticing is that as you are continuing to talk, the polarity between you is starting to dissolve a little bit. In other words, you were talking about the excitement, but you also have overwhelm. And you were talking about the desire for, you know, all the things that you talked about, but you're also feeling more open to the possibility. And as you go back and forth, you probably will converge more and more. So let's go to you and see, what are you hearing from this other part of you?
Well, that there's also, what I'm hearing is there's also great meaning in what you're doing now and in the connection and the relationship. You're
Yeah, there is.
Okay,
a lot of it. It touched me the way you said
Okay,
it, so
yeah.
I smiled.
Yeah, and that you had assigned meaning to this other work, which really is there for you, but you're discovering the meaning that you have currently, and something also about the predictability of it and the structure of it, and some choice that you have in this now that is very appealing.
And I think the part that I didn't hear that's really important to me has to do with the patients. I really care about the patients and the reliability of being there, and also the reliability for my partner, working together and sharing.
So that the service that you're providing,
Yeah.
regardless of it's hospice or the patients you have now, is really of utmost importance and value
Yes.
to you. Yeah.
It is.
And again, I want to ask you the same question. How is it affecting you to hear and grasp what this other part is speaking for?
Yeah, I have a much more inner sense of calm, and not so much I have to pick one or the other, that there's more congruency and complementariness in it, so it isn't so dire. But much more of ease and calmness inside.
And how are you doing in this moment?
It feels a little similar. In the beginning, when I heard yours, it was like if I give full credence to yours, there's no space for me. There's no space, and now it feels like I'm opening up and expanding, and there's space for this one, and there's also space for that one. So
Yeah. This is a lovely state to be in from which to make a decision. And I want to check back with Liz. Liz, are you still there?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about what it was like to hear this played out? Does it bear any similarity to what's really going on for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know why it's like echoing. Yes, absolutely. It was almost eerie to hear two people saying my thoughts very clearly. But yeah, it was definitely mimicked what I'm feeling.
And I'm wondering, as you were hearing this, where do you find yourself at the end of hearing this?
I think definitely more, I think there's some calm and some openness to both sides of it. There's definitely less urgency. But the insight that somebody said about like recognizing that there's service in both, and that even though one represented such like the utmost service, what I am doing now is also service. That was really good to hear.
Great. Thank you.
Very helpful. Thank you.
I am really appreciating your call, and I'm really, really glad that without knowing you, just doing this was helpful to you. That really touches me. I'm grateful to you for calling.
Yeah, thank you all very much. I'm very grateful as well.
Okay, thanks so much. Anything you want to say before we take another break?
No, it was very helpful to do this process for myself too.
Yeah, me too. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Liz, for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all so much.
Okay, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Nut will be back, and we'll have a scenario called "We Never Left You Alone."
Craving, flying with the raven, 'cause she takes me between the two worlds. She's got magic in her dark wings, and in her heart lies the blue pearl. I am hungry, and I've got some honey, and it feels good in my mouth. But Mama needs some loving and communion, but I'm left hanging too far south. So I breathe in the air, invoke the water, honor the earth, burn in the fire, breathe in the air, invoke the water, honor the earth, burn in the fire. It's okay that it turned out this way, 'cause I can always use time for myself, time to develop self-love as a habit, 'cause you sure can't get that from no one else. So I hang out my diseases, I can cure them.
Hi, welcome back to the Conflict Hotline. This is Miki Kashtan, and if you want to join us, the number again is 510-433-0700. And Nut is back. Welcome back. And Nut is going to be Robert in this scenario, who is the father. And this is Nancy, who is his grown daughter, who unfortunately went through a divorce recently.
So, Dad, hi.
Hi.
You know, it's been a really rough year with the divorce and everything, and I'm just kind of feeling like I've lost myself and I've been pulled in so many directions. And so I was kind of figuring out what might be a good thing for me to do. And I'm just wondering, what I'd like to do is leave, my daughter Dorothy with you for about 5 days so I could go away and just get a little break. And I'm wondering.
Well, I don't think that would be very appropriate. Do you? Really? I mean, really?
Not appropriate? I don't understand what you mean.
Well, she's 5 years old, isn't she? So,
She is.
and she's not been left by you before.
No, she hasn't.
So, I think you have to put your daughter first. As we did with you, we never left you alone when you were 5 years old. I don't think it's really the way that a good parent would behave.
Thank you. How are you feeling right now?
Bad. Like I did something bad. That I'm not a good mom. If I was a good mom, I wouldn't have that idea.
So you're taking in what he is saying and taking it personally.
Yeah. Oh, he's my father.
Yeah. So it's pretty painful.
Yeah, it's painful. And it's like I'm damaging my daughter. That I would damage my daughter, and that's the worst thing I could think of ever doing.
Because you really care about her.
Yeah, I love
deeply.
her. I really love her. Yeah.
So what I get a sense that is happening for you is that it's in the face of this reaction, it's hard for you to stay connected with yourself and with the significance and value of your own needs.
Yeah, because it's like all of a sudden, whatever my idea was wrong. That's all I can feel is the wrong and the bad feelings, and like I'm ashamed of myself for even thinking that.
Yeah. This happens to so many of us that in the face of any kind of reaction that is unfavorable, we lose sight of our own needs, and we end up feeling shame about our own needs. Is this what is happening to you?
Yeah, I feel shame and like I'm bad, and like I shouldn't want this vacation for myself if I was really a good mother.
Yeah, it's a really, really challenging process to really be able to stick with what is true instead of what should be. Because what is true is that you really are exhausted and you really do need a break.
Yeah, and the reason, that you say this now is thinking that if I got a break, I'd probably be a better mom because I'd have some energy and really be there for her instead of just like being there like a robot because I'm...
So you're really wanting rejuvenation so that you can really focus your energy and be with her in a way that you can feel good about.
Yeah, that I can be really, really with her and not half asleep.
Yeah, so take a breath. I'm wondering if recognizing this is helping you, stay more connected to the meaning of this vacation.
Yeah, it's just, I can stay with it and then I just feel this enormous sadness that my dad feels that way. Just that's what's there for me now.
So there's what I'm getting is there's a variety of relationships going on simultaneously. There is all your needs that have to do with yourself. Just wanting rejuvenation, wanting a break, wanting relief, all of that. And then you have your needs related to your daughter that have to do with, wanting to be present, wanting to be focused, wanting to find ways of expressing your love. And then there's a set of needs related to your dad, which I'm imagining that you are really longing for acceptance.
Yeah.
And to be seen for your intentions and for your care.
Yeah, and I guess, I would have loved to have had some little support in that too.
Yeah.
And now I'm also just left with, well, her father left, now I'm leaving,
So you are, there's a little bit of tornness inside of you because you care for her so much.
I do, I really do.
Yeah. Is there anything, go ahead.
No, and as you said that, and then I took a breath, I started to feel some care for myself come back into the picture. Yeah. That, hey, I'm not so bad.
You want to honor yourself. Just in the midst of all that's happening, you really want to stay true to what would be nourishing for you.
Right, and there was a little slimmer of trust, that I trusted what I wanted was all right.
Thank you. So do you feel a little more solid inside yourself?
I do.
Are you game for doing an excursion with me right now? Before we're not quite ready. We're not ready quite to talk to Dad. But maybe you're ready to try to understand Dad inside yourself. Do you have a sense of what's important to him?
Well, he's always been one that family is really, really important, and to do the right thing. So that he really, I think, and he was upset with the divorce. And so I think that he really is coming from a place of that families should be together and take care of each other, and that he loves his granddaughter.
So there is a deep core sense of love and caring that is infusing his action. Isn't that tragic that in the name of love and care he speaks to you in a way that you end up feeling shame? I bet anything that's not what he wants.
No.
Let me check with him to see if I'm right on or off. Is it true?
Yes, I'm not trying to create shame. I just am trying to make sure that, she thinks carefully about the choices that she's making and looks after our granddaughter.
Yeah. So at the heart of this is care for your daughter that you also care about.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if you may or may not be ready to face him.
He's my dad, I think so.
I just want to say before you face him that sometimes it might take more than just a few minutes of reflection to be ready to face someone. But in this case, we got to the bottom of it well enough, and you kind of like have space that you're willing to... Okay. So let's take it from the moment when he is saying all the things that he said, not all the way to the beginning. Just when you say it's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate. It's not something that we ever did with you when you were 5 years old. I think you need to reconsider.
So, Dad, I know how much you love Dorothy, and I'm guessing that that's where your concern is, that by my going away, that it wouldn't be good for her.
Right. She's just had her parents break up.
I know.
And now, not long afterwards, you leaving her alone.
Yeah. So you really want her to be well and to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to be looking after her.
Yeah. And I know how much I love Dorothy, and I'm imagining that. I'll just say this, that you also, I'm your daughter and love me a lot too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And
I just want to check for a moment with Dad to see. I'm wondering how it is for you to have her respond to you in this way.
I'm pretty calm at the moment. It doesn't feel like a fight or anything. And,
Whereas before it did.
Well, I was a little bit upset before,
Yeah.
and now I'm less so.
And my sense is he might not be ready quite to hear you. And that's part of what the challenge of a situation like this is, that you have so much to work through inside of you, and he has so much to work through, and you need to be strong enough to meet him where he is, to bring the two of you to connection, because he didn't have the privilege of getting somebody to sit with him and offer him empathy like I did with you. So it might be harder for him to come to a place of connection and softness.
Yeah, clear.
Is there anything you'd like to say before we close?
No, I guess just that it's a shame that I don't have to have someone who gives me lots of empathy.
Yes.
And it's a shame that I don't know to ask for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that even with this tough veneer, the need is still there. And that's a really fabulous tip for you to remember when you talk with him next. That the tough veneer, underneath it, there is a human being with a soft heart just like you. But you won't show it.
Not this evening.
Okay, thank you. And is there anything else you want to say before we close this?
No, it was satisfying.
Okay, so I want to kind of like look at the show as a whole. What stands out to you? What are some of the things, we're coming to the end, what are some of the things that stand out to you that you'd like to kind of like encapsulate that we did today that were meaningful to you?
I enjoyed that we had a call of bringing in an inner conflict and seeing how that can be worked with two people playing the two sides.
Yeah, and I still just marvel at the ability to have a connection and how quickly things can shift. And that left with, what really struck me was when you said perhaps he wasn't ready to connect, but I just feeling the love from him without him saying anything, that opening up that kind of conversation just allows so much to come through. That's surprising, that you don't even need words sometimes.
And for me, what stands out to me is a little similar to what you said, how sometimes a situation that can appear so volatile, one line of being willing to hear the other person instead of reacting can completely drain the charge from it. So thank you very much, and I want to express gratitude to our caller Liz for bringing something in the moment and real to us. And I want to express again gratitude to Newt, Ellen, and Sabina, and to the cast, to the crew. And if you are interested in learning more about this, there is plenty of opportunities that you can have. You can go check our website. We have offerings all over different places in the world. And if you are far away, you can also check the NVC Academy, where you can learn online. And we love to get feedback from you. And we also love to get scenarios and situations. We use them and incorporate them into the scenarios that we play out. And either one you can send to conflicthotline@baynvc.org. And again, I am grateful for your willingness to play, to do whatever it takes to make this show work, and for the all-volunteer crew for coming here month after month to do this so that all of you can view this. And we'll be with you again next month on December 3rd at 7:30. Goodbye, good night.
I am here to love you. I am here to free you. Yeah, enemy, enemy mine, reveal me, reveal me. We are on our paths, side by side, seekers on a parallel, taking what little was given us and turning heaven from hell. Together we can turn